So we're going live today. Today is official Wednesday, January 29th. It's about 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. My name is Jay Lawrence. I am the founder and the trustee of Market Navigator. So we have AI Market Navigator, and our URL is MarketNav.AI. So let's get the show on the road. I'm going to let you know that we are really focusing on a daily basis, doing some things that we believe are going to be completely additive uh, to you. And we're streaming on, let's see, 4 different platforms, and one happens to be Instagram. So I'm setting Instagram up right now. Good morning, IG fam. Okay. So I want everybody to know that we're here for you. We're going to be sharing some insights. Most of our insights are really going to be focusing on what we're doing in the trading space. And I want to make sure that I kind of give you guys full disclosure. First off, as you can see, my title is trustee. And that really means that, the things that we focus on are primarily, in my life, it is really about making sure that people who are near and dear to me um, are actually being served at the highest level. That means I'm a fiduciary and have to make sure that things that we do, whether that be through, some family endeavors that we have, family businesses, and or things I'm doing on a more sort of partnership or joint venture basis, or some things that we've done over time. We want to make sure that we continue to make everybody who works with us and has worked with us in the past, everybody feels that we're ever evolving and ever creating more benefits. So we're going to focus on Market Nav for the majority of what this whole environment is going to be here as we stream live every morning at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. It's really going to be about making sure that you see that trading is real, and I want to make sure that I also share with you like where my allegiance lie. Okay, I'm gonna share a few sites with you and some other things as we move forward. But I just want to make sure that you guys know, like, I'm not going to be pulling any punches, as they say. I believe that the way that we, as people of color, Black folks, the way we have been really leveraged by the entire system, dating way back from the 1600s all the way to today, and we'll go, deep into that. I just want to make sure that everybody understands, like, why we're focusing on this particular avenue of financial resources, and teaching around those resources, and then demonstrating live around those resources because of this. It's called the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation. This is one of the entities that we control, right? We own nothing, we control everything. And when you have a private foundation, one of the things you need to have is you need to have a sense of a purpose, a public purpose. Even if it's a private foundation, you still want to be able to reach outside. And in this case, I want everybody, when you do have an opportunity, to go to urpf.org. We're talking really about what the underrepresented peoples, who they are, what they do, what's being done to them, and how they get from underneath that. This is not a victim mentality. This is a mentality of making sure that we share the proper true light on what's happening with Black and brown people in America. And our way of actually, walking through that process is to rebalance the scales of economic justice. Right? So on this site, we talk about it. Black Americans have endured centuries of living through systemic oppression. Finally, your opportunity to take a deep dive into the numbers, the facts, and the disgrace known as the American way. Right. So we're talking about the establishment of slavery, slavery over the years. We're talking about, post-war. We're talking about segregation. We're talking about Jim Crow laws. And I encourage everyone to spend just a little time, and in this case, this is one of a series of sort of learning opportunities that we created. Again, the failure of Reconstruction, the rise of Jim Crow. And I know this is historical context for a lot of people, but I want to make sure before we get into the money aspect of how we're actually creating the type of, let's just call it legacy defining financial security, right? We know that financial security as Black people and as brown people in America, wealth would be great. Wealth is an actual sort of goal that we may have, right? But we need to secure the bag. We need to be financially secure, and I just want to make sure that we talk about this thing in 1877, and this is way back when, but it applies to us right now, right? That there were some things that were done in theory to benefit Black men and Black women and their children way back in the mid 1800s, after over 200 years of oppression at that point. And these numbers here talk about some of the implementation of something called Black codes. So by 1900, all former Confederate states had enacted comprehensive Black codes, vagrancy laws. This is how they were able to round up Black men for simply not having a job, throw them in jail, then force them to work for the system of which that these individuals had no intention of being vagrants. They had been workers the whole time. Unfortunately, they were working for someone who owned them, that would be their slave owner. And as soon as you get away from that thing, within really 30 years, you go from being a slave from someone who was in a private business, call it the slave master, right? You went back to a scenario now, the government actually, whether it be local government, state government, or federal government, had instituted all of these laws that took those same individuals that were once slave workers and made them institutional workers within the prison system. Okay, so this is what it's about. We're telling you through this particular site, again, it's URPF.org. Please spend some time here, educate yourself on what's really happening. And I think that your family, your perspective will change. And last thing, I just want to share this with you is that we have a grant. It's called Pass the Knowledge Grant. You can apply for it here. And the grant is really about helping people, Black people who have slave ancestry, as I do, to make sure that we can level up financially, but doing it in a way where you actually have the right structures, trusts, foundations, holding companies at the state level, at the federal level. And there's a whole myriad of things that we're going to be discussing over time. If you continue to plug in on a daily basis here, there will be some things that you're going to learn. But I promise you, some people are here just for the trading. We're going to get to the trading in just a second. But I want to make sure, see, illuminating a legacy of oppression is the reason why we created this thing known as AI Market Navigator, right? Because if you don't understand and have a light in front of you to see exactly the direction that you're going in, you will always lose. And so this is our contribution. This would be the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation. This particular website, this content, and this grant is going to help individuals who are Black, who are brown, to be able to get the financial support through our entities, right, to give you the financial footprint that you need, and thus then the foundation that you need, thus then giving you the opportunity to grow. Again, here is our the declaration of our foundation, and here's our 1023 letter, which is our determination letter saying that the Underrepresented Peoples is a non-taxed private foundation. All right. So enough about that PSA. And starting out, where the PSA may seem kind of strong for folks, but I tell you this, get used to it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we give you the things that ordinarily you do not receive. Most people are not getting the type of knowledge, insight, information. They're not getting the opportunity to sit at the dinner table and to be able to learn from masters. So I'm going to give you essentially about 50 years worth of knowledge. We're going to roll this into these little 1 hour bite-sized chunks. We'll be on for at least an hour, again, from 6:15 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You know what time it is on the East or wherever else you are joining us from. You'll know it. We're recording all these. We're pushing all these back to our socials. I'll be sharing all of that, where you can find us and how you find us a little bit later. But as of right now, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. You see on the bottom of the screen is MarketNav.AI. So we're going to actually go there now. Then we're going to roll into what we're doing in terms of like how we're creating the type of financial opportunity really through capital markets, right? And how we're actually have been leveraging AI, really, fully throated AI since December of 22. And if you know anything about AI time, really, a month is a year in terms of the progression and how things, unfold and how things are being advanced. So if you're not fully on board with AI, I'm talking about leveraging all the LLMs, these large language models, right? And understanding what OpenAI is and what Claude and Perplexity and Chat GPT and then now obviously DeepSeek is a whole conversation about that I'm intimately familiar with. If you don't know about these things, you're not using these in your daily, you're losing. I mean, literally, there's no reason for anybody who can hear this recording, watch this video, if you're not fully embed with AI is going to be your overlord, meaning that you will be working for someone or something that actually is leveraging AI. They've marginalized you and your money to the point where you become a consumer of AI and not a creator within the AI space. You need to be a creator. And we're going to talk about how we've been able to leverage that creation aspect of it on AI Market Navigator. Again, you see the website at the bottom. You can check it out for yourself. Some of the other things we want to make sure that you know that we're offering something primarily for people who have never successfully been able to trade in capital markets, meaning that stocks, bonds, that kind of thing. So indices, right? Whether you are trading in Dow 30 or whether you're in pairs and forex or whether you're in commodities and gold and platinum, oil, corn, it doesn't matter. Like we create these algorithms that allow us to leverage up, and our algorithms were created by our AI, but you have to have the market knowledge, the life knowledge to be able to kind of create this, what most people consider to be the type of technology is really just recreating what we know as the world we live in. I'm going to go over here to Market Nav and make sure that we start the conversation correctly. Let me get in here. Get you another screen up. So what Market Nav is our sort of insights, and I have to give you guys just a little bit of knowledge. I've been a business person from way back in the day. We're talking about literally, started my real first business at 13 years old in Richmond and in Berkeley and Oakland, California, in that area. So I am from the Bay Area. The value proposition is that when you are really born into the technology space, literally Silicon Valley-ish, right? You're very comfortable with things. And one of the things I was really comfortable with is data. I've always been at a couple of companies, started it from scratch. I was in the military. We get through all that. Got out of the military, had a bunch of clearances, a White House, a top secret, a Pentagon clearance. What does that mean? It gives you an opportunity to sort of like, you're living in DC at the time. This is way back in the day. You get opportunities, and I was literally like poached, and people gave me an opportunity, and that's through that opportunity I'm going to be sharing with you how you can take, again, I mentioned almost 50 years worth of real life experience, business experience, wins and loses, some amazing, some horrible failures, but all in all, this is life, right? And what you want to do is you want to be able to be incredibly resilient, bounce back, learn from anything positive and negatives, learn from anything that you did, when you built the bag or you lost the bag, and rebuild the bag and lose the bag and rebuild the bag again. The main thing is that we always get off the mat if we're using a boxing metaphor, and AI Market Navigator is a result of that. It's really cool, right? So, we code up all of our sites. We don't outsource. They may not be the type of site that, oh, that looks like $1 million site. No, this is a site that, even, yours truly coded up. And the reason is because we want to be able to tell a story in a way. And AI Market Navigator, we trade with intelligence. What I want you to, there's a little video here. It's like a 2-minute video. You can watch this. It kind of, it really explains some of the things that we're doing within the AI space, within the capital market trading space. And we are delivering signals. So this is really about, it's going to be an extended quasi infomercial on how you can trade and use signals. But I'm going to always season it because we're about cooking, right? We're going to season it with all of the life lessons, all of the business insights, all of the resource material, all of the education aspects of this thing that you're going to have to embrace. That's what this is about. So again, if you ever want to know where to find this, again, MarketNav.Ai is this particular website. If you want to learn, you can obviously go back to the learning component. You can always go back to URPF.org, right? That's the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation. That is our page. So I'm back here to AI Market Navigator. And so just walking through, what this is really is kind of giving you the insights as to why real-time performance is important, why we focus on, its track record, and our track record is really AI powered, right? So there's a consumer level of AI, there's a data science aspect of AI, there is an opportunity to kind of build real structured business using AI at a level of which you've never had before. And this is an example of some of the things that you can do. So when I mention AI, I'm talking about giving yourself an opportunity to work with multiple PhDs in your phone, right? Like they're literally there, right? Like you have them at your disposal. But if you are intimidated by talking to a PhD because you don't feel like you're smart enough, allow the PhD to teach you. And so this is some of the things that that we're going to be leveraging up, right? We want you to understand that in this case, we leverage AI, and these are real testimonies, right? That individuals are having these kind of returns over time. Remember, we can only talk about past results, never about future opportunity, right? So we're going to always, adhere to that. We want to make sure that you guys know that this is purely entertainment when it comes to anything that's going to move the needle financially. We can't tell you what to do. We're not, series license. We're not, no, none of that. What we are is we went to the best school, right? That's the school of hard knocks. That's the school of learning. The school of resiliency. This is where we are. And if you look at these returns, this is a sort of over a 5-month period, 78%. You may think that's nice, or 95% over 3 months, or 171% over 9 months. I will tell you that if I gave you the real number, the insight number, we have days that will absolutely blow these out of the water. And there's a specific way that we're actually, and we have leveraged up with our AI and with just the life experiences in the trade markets, how we've been able to do it. Well, we're really about focusing on sort of leverage, right? And so we're going to talk about that. There's something that I want you guys to know. Like, this is a full-blown paid service, though we do have a grant program for those who absolutely need, the opportunity, need the leg up. We can talk about that again. Remember, the grant program is through the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation, right? You can go to, again, Underrepresented Peoples Foundation, URPF.org, and you're going to go all the way down, go through the site, but you can apply here, and that will get you started. So maybe you are in a situation where you don't have the sort of finances where you can even afford a $97 a month bill, right? So you can actually have access to your own AI, powered by AI signal. So what do I mean with signals? So if you know anything about trading, you know that having sort of insights as to what's going to happen, or having something that's as close to being predictive as possible in the market, this is what everybody's leaning into. Like there's nothing better than having an opportunity to know that you can be, minutes, hours, or days ahead of a market move. and you've done it because you've done your homework. You understand exactly like where the market is moving. And when you're in that situation and you know the market is moving, you're going to be able to do some things like this. I have a series of just screenshots that we took as we were, really taking down some of the gains in the market. And I'm going to share some of that with you guys as we move forward. I have several of these to share with you. Again, we're broadcasting and we will consistently do this. And this is my commitment to you is that we're going to, um, we're going to always make sure that we give you the type of information that's going to lead to really greater good gains for you, meaning that we're going to give you the opportunity to do some things that most people, either one, they don't even know exist, or two, they're afraid because they're listening to people who they think are just well intended. But there's so many sort of motivations, and sometimes the motivation that somebody will give you information that's erroneous or bad or misguided, they may be doing it through ignorance. Sometimes people do it because of competition. They don't want to see you rise. Other people are doing it because they literally believe that you, as a black person or a brown person, that you are beneath them. Okay. And if that's the case, guess what? We put those people on blast. Right. And the way we put them on blast is we do things like this. So you can see this particular trade. So this is a chart, right? So we coded all of this up, right? This is all of our tech. We don't, we use signals, but we create our own signals around indicators and oscillators that many are, it's all public, right? But you have to understand how to create and sort of pull all of that data together to be able to give you the opportunity to learn a story. See, stocks is really about storytelling, right? Forex is really about storytelling. Commodities is storytelling. Options is storytelling. And what do I mean when I say that? So if you understand that the market, whether you're watching it on CNBC or Bloomberg, or you track it on your iPhone or your Android, whatever you got, your Samsung, and you're looking at the markets and you're seeing these chart moves, right? Rarely are you going to see a chart move publicly that they're going to show you something like this. You see this mark here that says buy, right? So what if I share with you that if you have something that's telling you to buy, and then that buy just continues to elevate, right? Imagine being able to know that within this particular time frame that you have a buy and a double buy. This basically means, hey, buy this. Oh no, really, I want you to buy this now. This is called, really, we call this sort of, buying or strong buy, right? So this is a strong buy right here. And this strong buy is basically saying, hey, every time you take these, I need you to take as many as you possibly can afford right now when you see this double hit right here, right? So buy, this is a strong buy. What you see here at the bottom of this is basically telling you we have these little tiny indicators, these little triggers right here, right? This little dot is telling me something. This little dot is telling me something. This red line here is telling me something. This green line, this green dot, these are all opportunities for us to take profit. You're going to learn the term TP. When you hear me say TP, you know for a fact that I'm talking about you are taking profit, right? We want you to be in this profit game, right? We want you to be masters of profit taking, right? This is great. So again, look at the date on this. This is last Friday, right? No, this is in December. Okay, so this was a month or so ago, on the 27th, right? And this ran from Friday at 6 a.m. to Monday at 8 a.m. And most people would say, wait a minute, the market is closed on the weekend. We're like, yeah, but not really. Right. It's called, again, excuse me, I'm gonna be delving into my coffee as we go forward. Delicious. We used to call it bulletproof coffee with Irish butter and coconut oil and some great Costco coffee. And we make our own sort of little concoction to make it creamier and slightly sweet. So what you see here at the bottom of the screen, right? And in fact, I'm not quite sure you guys can see it. Let me do something here. Let me move this up. Maybe I can. give it to you. There you go. Let's do it like that. So here at the very bottom, you see 2 dates, and this is saying, hey, this trade started on a Friday and it ended it on a Monday. So obviously that ran over the weekend. And what I was saying before, many people don't even know that you trade off hours. Yes. Why is that so important? Because in off hour trade, many times is where you're going to be able to get these great gains. So let's follow the chart here, right? Let's get a little bit in the weeds with this one, right? Let me try to pull this up a little bit for you. There we go. Okay. So get this. This is basically saying we have 2 things. This, we consider this to be sort of our institutional traders. This is what's happening on the institution side, right? This is this yellow line. The blue line is the institution side, but the blue line here, this is how the institutions as a whole, how they flow, right? Think of this is what they feel. The yellow line is how they feel about the market, right? The blue line is what they're actually doing in terms of how they're spending money in the market. Okay. So both going in the same direction from left to right. But in this case, the blue line is really going like, here's how their dollars are being spent. And if you can just kind of take a look at this yellow line, you're like, well, here, this means that they're in a buying mood, anything that's moving up, right? And it turns slightly. And some people will say, oh, well, they're turning against the market. No, when you see these are opportunities to do what? Take profit. So many times when you see an ascending chart where it's going up, and then you'll see a dip here and it goes back up. This is where you see this reversal, right? This looks like a little reversal. This was typically this is a bunch of institutional players taking profit. Remember what I said, TP. TP is supremely important. In fact, I'm going to come back here in a second, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay. Trading is about how many opportunities can you take profit during your trades. It's not just about entering and exiting, it's about profiting on the way. So what does that mean? Like our philosophy is if it's good enough for 1 trade, it's good enough for 5. Why? Because if I'm going to take $1 and I'm going to go into the market, what it doesn't matter. We're going to get into the charts again a little bit. If I go into the market, the main thing that I want to know is how many opportunities can I take some of those 5 individual, we have between 3 to 5 actual trades that we focus on, okay, at one time, meaning we're taking multiple positions in a trade, okay? So if we're taking multiple positions and we're walking down this pathway and we see, hey, the market dropped $1 on the ground. I'm going to pick that dollar up and put it in my pocket. So we consider trading as a journey. And along the journey, we're paying attention to the opportunities for us to pick up these dollars that they leave behind. We'll pick them up gladly. So that's what take profit is. Think of it as you're going down your journey of success. Every time is an opportunity for you to take something off the table and put it in your pocket, take it. And that's how, and while we focus on the profit side of this thing, it's such a high level. All right, let's get back into the chart. Where are we at? We are, I believe we are. Give me a second, guys. Let me find this chart. Here we are. Let's put it up front. Let's get it here. Here it is. And let's go back to the share. Okay. So what do we have? We have, we were down here and we were looking at these dips. And I said, each time you see this little reversal, that's telling me that someone at some point took some profit and they did it again, right? And technically they did it again. And even at these little minis, you see how this one, let's just kind of look at this. This chart, it went all the way up. This little red line, right, means that this is a point of which that we know that the moving average, right? So you take a look at all of the trades that's happening all at the same time, right? Whoever is actually buying and selling in the market. When you have a market that is as they say, it's heating up, meaning that just on this particular chart, you can see that there was a dip, there was someone, they were buying into the market, and then it literally kind of went, sort of sideways, right? This was like people that were kind of in the market. It was more neutral right here, meaning that you didn't have more buyers or more sellers just between this little peak here. Pretty much you had equal money. Let's consider it to be that. And then what did it do? It moved here to this reversal, right? And so why is that reversal so important? Because this is a take profit moment. Why? Because the market is still going to go up. All this is saying is, hey, listen, if you have $1 or $1 million in your trade account, you need to continue to focus on moments to take profit. That's why, again, we love reversals, because this simply means that, hey, the entire market, or at least a large segment of the market, is decided to take some profit. Profits win. Going back up here to the top, as this market, see, these are the actual executed. This is the blue line, means that this is how these institutional guys are actually buying. We're going to get into the hierarchy of all the institutions versus the retail. We're going to do all that later, right? But for right now, today, we just want to kind of give it to you like at the base level, which is anytime you see this red dot here, right? On our charts, that red dot, that means that the market is overbought, right? So when you're going up, everybody's buying, 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 buying. So as soon as you cross that line, that red line, that market saying it's overbought, no, it's not going to run much further than it's ran here. You can see why, because the way we have this set up, you see this red line, this is kind of like we like to focus on 90%. Many people like to focus on 80% or 85%. And why? 90% up here, when you have the right algorithmic knowledge, right? I love the word algorithm, because rhythm, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, this is really like this dance, this music. And when you understand music, and let's just consider this chart to be a sheet of music, right? If you are somebody who doesn't know how to read music, you're a great listener of music. That means if you're a listener of music, you don't know how to read music, you can only be a consumer of music. You can't be a creator of music. Hence, every great musician knows how to read sheet music. I don't care if you are a hip hop artist, or you are, at some kind of philharmonic, Boston pop philharmonic, symphony person. No matter what, everybody knows how to read a sheet of music, right? You understand this. And so trading is the same way, right? That you have to understand like what this sheet of music means. And this particular music note, that red dot right there, that's telling me, hey, here's an opportunity for you to, you're near the top of the market, right? Because that dot tells me that it's now officially overbought. Everybody who's buying in the market right now, this particular, and I think this is focusing on, I think this is a US 30. You can see it up here in the corner. This is US 30 chart. Okay. So if you have US 30, which is what the 30 largest companies really on the planet, right? These particular companies are individuals are buying into these companies, and whether it be a retail trader like you or I, whether it be a company, another like a real company like a hedge fund or private equity or some of these, and know this, we're going to over time we're going to get into all of that as well, so we can ascertain who all the buyers in the market is, right? Or it could be, again, what we talk about sovereign, which is, it could be like nations and or states that they're buying into the market. Anybody who has a lot of money or wants to make a lot of money, they're in the capital markets, period. Like anybody who says, I do everything in real estate, they're telling you half the truth. Of course you are. You're in real estate. But there are elements of which that when you're in real estate, you have to diversify. The most profitable businesses on the planet, the most profitable families on the planet, they are both in real estate and they are also in capital markets. And sometimes you could be in real estate without you actually like buying an individual piece of property. You could be in a REIT. What is a REIT? Well, a REIT is a real estate trust, right? So if you're going to be in real estate, you should be in the investment side of it. And thus you have a trust. And a trust is something that says that, hey, we can actually acquire this asset. We can keep it inside of a trust. And then because of the way the real estate market and the banking and the insurance market works here in the United States, they allow that real estate to go into a trust, right? And now that trust has special privileges. And one of the privileges is that it can take in money from investors, right, into that trust, into that piece of real estate. So that's what a REIT is, real estate investment trust. Okay. So if you have all these entity types that's buying into the market, and you can see here, this is the 90 percentile right here. I make this thing red here because red to me means, hey, alert, step up, pay attention. So once you cross this red threshold and you get this red dot here, this is saying, hey, the market is reaching the top. Get ready for a reversal. Get ready for a reversal. And what did I tell you? Reversals are what? Opportunity to take profit. Okay. So I share with you, you can take profit down here, but guess what? We take profit up here too. The great thing about the stock market is you can take profit all day long. Like you could take it on every account. You can simply continue to take profit. This is what it is, right? So in this case, you have a reversal here, then you have a little bit of a flat line, and then what happens? Boop, you have a little bit of a dip. This is telling me people are doing what? They're taking more profit. Okay. I want to make this thing clear, right? This is about your ability to know when profit is going to get taken off the table so you could take some too. Okay. Like I'm not going to be trying to jump ahead of the institutional buyers. Why? These guys are trading in the trillions of dollars. You like small fries like us, we may be trading in the thousands of dollars or the hundreds of dollars in certain situations where we have people that actually participate in MarketNav that sign up at MarketNav.Ai, but the AI Market Navigator, they come in our community and guess what they do? They're like, hey, teach me, teach me. It's almost like, teach me how to Dougie, right? Like teach me how to do this thing, right? So we provide this sort of level of sort of nuanced knowledge that allows you to know that, listen, Linda, listen, remember that little kid? If you can take profit, let's count the profit taken just on this one chart, just over this short period of time. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 8, right? That was 8 opportunities to take profit if you were in this trade and did this thing. Now, if you have $100 in your account, I'm going to tell you, we created something that's pretty much revolutionary when it comes to how, let's just call it service providers of knowledge around this thing called capital markets. We know that people of color financially are really, we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Let's just be what it is, right? If you ever go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it has all of this great knowledge. And again, I mentioned the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation, is our private foundation, but also it's a teaching space, right? It's a learning space for a lot of people. And there is this communication that I learned about last year, and it was the average Black household when the matriarch or the patriarch. So that would be like patriarch is like the dad or the grandpa. The matriarch is the mom or the grandma, right? When they die, they're turning over in a Black household. They're turning from with the monies that they had to their families. They're turning over $24,000 in total. That is their total at death. Is their total net worth at death. Imagine living to you're 70 or 80 years old and you have essentially only $24,000 of net worth. That would be all the money you could stack in the corner, right? If you sold your property, you sold your houses, you sold whatever you had, sold your car, sold everything. After all the debt is paid off, all you have is $24,000. That's a travesty, particularly when you compare and contrast, because that same family who is a Caucasian family in America. So you got a Black family and you got a Caucasian family. Okay. That Black family, the unfortunate thing is, has $24,000. That Caucasian family, same matriarch, patriarch scenario, they have $188,000 to hand to the next generation. 24,000 versus 188,000. Imagine this happening thousands of times every single day, because we have millions of people in the United States, right? 340 million, something like that, whatever that number is. But we have a ton of people, and we have these multiple classes of people. Not one class is better than the other, but one class is definitely has a leg up and had a head start. See, one class was being slaves, and the other class is being slave masters. And you do that for 400 years. I guarantee the ones that were slaves and has a slave ancestry, they're going to have much less money. How can you tell? Look at the doggone statistics. As of today, $24,000 when someone dies, that's a husband-wife team, whatever that partnership is, they die. The Caucasian equivalent, they have 188,000, real numbers. Again, want more information on that? Go to UnderRepresented Peoples Foundation. That's URPF.org. I know I keep beating this thing down, but listen, you got to get with this. You got to understand and embrace the fact that this is the real. We're not talking about all this political stuff. We're not talking about who the bad guys are and what happened, but we just got to fess up. The only way, if you black and you're watching this, the only way you're going to get your reparations, what it is, being able to get reimbursed for all of the struggles that your ancestries came through and you're going through today, right now, as a black person in America. The only way you're going to be able to do it is to learn and master capital markets and learn and master real estate, period, end of story. Now, there are all these different vehicles around those two things that when you do those two things, that it's going to make it a lot easier, make it a lot faster for you to be able to walk through the process so you can actually double, triple, quadruple down and create way more profits that's sustainable, that turns into legacy. So when you pass away, let's assume that you're 22 years old and you're going to live to you 122. You got 100 years of building, okay? But when it's time for you to go meet your maker, we want you to make sure you have all the right insurances in place, because insurance is free money. You see, the insurance companies will allow you to put money in their tank, and they'll give you over time. They'll give you, if you put 100,000 in, they'll give you $1 million over time, right? So that's a great investment. What else? I don't know. If you do want to be in real estate, great. But I'm telling you, people who are buying real estate and you're not putting your real estate immediately in a trust, and not just any trust, right? There is this non-grantor irrevocable trust, right? There's a specific way you organize that thing. There's specific states where you want to have that thing domiciled, like where's the home of the state, right? You want to make sure that also, like from a federal standpoint, it meets all the federal standards, right? So you can do something. So when you're acquiring real estate and you're doing it in your trust, okay, that means that real estate is going to be tied to the trust and not to the you. Meaning why? Because people, we have limitations. People, we have shortcomings. People, we're there's no way that a human being is going to be able to navigate a large real estate portfolio without having the right base. And the base is your trust, or trusts in plural. The base is your private foundation, because a private foundation is really a bank. No income tax, no capital gains tax, and no property tax. So what is that? I don't know. It loans, it invests, it grants, and it gives. Guess what? By definition, that is a bank. Okay. So you can have your own private bank in the form of a private foundation. So if you're buying real estate and you control the bank, and your trust is the thing that's actually owning, not you, the trust is owning and holding that property in trust, and then it has this power of its own bank. Imagine how powerful you can be when you have something that can hold the property and you can spend dollars to benefit that asset. So if that house is in trust, you know that you can write off 100% of what you spend on that asset. That would be the roofs, the floors, the rehab, anything you have to do, all the bills, the power bills, the light bill, I don't care, everything bill that you have that's associated with that real estate, as long as you're growing the asset, which is that building, that home, that land. If you got land, put some doggone solar panels on that doggone land. Stop playing. Okay. People say, oh, well, no. Put some solar panels up. You know why? Because one, you're getting free energy from the sun. Number two, you can have these amazing tax credits that sits around solar and power, right? Do you know that, the previous president, he gave up something like $2 trillion earmarked just for this transition to sustainable energy. What's sustainable energy? Wind, hydro, obviously the sun, right? So if they're giving you this free opportunity to create these free businesses, is the root of that business real estate? Yeah, because I'm gonna have some dirt and I'm gonna put some solar panels on that dirt, and then I'm gonna be able to do what? I'm gonna be able to get, yes, tax credits, because that's a real estate play, right? But because I have a trust and I have a private foundation and I have a federal non-tax holding company as well, when I say I really mean like I control these things. Okay, so anytime you hear me talking, I'm not talking about like you could theoretically do this or theoretically do that. I'm saying, listen, this is how you do it. This is what we do, right? We have all the IP around these things. Intellectual property is IP. We have the IP around these things. That means that we know we have them and we know how to flex them and use them. We even teach other people how to do it. Okay, so listen to where we're going with this. If in fact you want to be somebody who wants to trade, trading gives you an opportunity to be in real estate without you actually buying real estate. I mentioned REITs, real estate investment trust. That's real estate. Let's go back to the chart. Is this it? Let's see. Guys, give me a second. I got a couple different charts up, but I want the one that we were just on. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. So here we are. Let's go back. We were talking about making sure, first and foremost, that we know that take profit is the name of the game. So let's assume that you enter the trade here and you let it run up and you have this cross line, and we're going to talk about the technicals in a second. But I'm giving you, like I said, I promise to give you like the base. So even like you say, what is it? Geico, even a caveman can do it, right? Even a caveman can do this, because you can say take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit. Right? So reversals and this dot is an overbought. That's what this talks about here. This is like reading music, right? This is what it is. I'm just sharing with you how you read these notes. Okay. Now let's look at this. Let's come over here. So we said, hey, it's telling us that it was overbought. Overbought means that there's no more room to buy. So as soon as it becomes overbought and it stays up there for a while, it's going to then do what? People are going to sell it. We call this shorting the market, right? So you're going here, and now this market is cascading all the way down. But that's not down in a negative way, because if you're not familiar with the stock market, you would look at this chart and be like, oh no, I got to get out because you only can make money on the way up. No, that's not what it is. You make money on the way up. You take money on the way up. You make money on the way down. You take money on the way down. All this is telling you is down here, this little green down here at the bottom, this is saying, hey, the market is now oversold. Oversold means what? Going to be a reversal. Did I just tell you that every time you see this little dip right here, this is a profit-taking opportunity? Okay. So in this case, you're going to take profit. Why? Because this red line at the bottom is saying, hey, you're now out of bounds. The market can't run anymore. It's going to go back up. Buy. If in fact you were coming here, you're shorted the market, right? You sold into the market. Shorting the market and selling into the market is the same thing, right? So you shorted the market and now the market is going down. Can you take some profits off the table here? Absolutely. You don't have to wait necessarily for a reversal, but typically what's happening is when it's coming down here, this is a good run. So if you took 5 positions in one trade here at the top and you let those 5 run all the way down, is there a great chance that you're going to make a lot of opportunities to close out those individual trades with a positive? Yes, because we make money going down and we make money going up. This is the value of having, again, AI-based, super trained, super smart, double, triple, quadruple PhD level algorithms that tell us exactly what to do. How can I tell you? Because I coded this myself and my son. We both worked on this over the last year. Okay. So I'm publicly putting it out there. And this is the very first day that I publicly just like, let's just go all in. Let's kind of share some insights with the people so they clearly understand. Okay. Because if you're somebody who's like, you know what? I've been trying to figure out how to trade, or I've been trading, I just haven't been winning at the super crazy level. I need to turn up. You know how this is going to work, because you're going to learn that that red dot right there means overbought. Thus means at some point that thing is going to become oversold, and you want to be catching it between this red dot and that green dot. That's the money. That's the money path. It goes back up again. So why is it so important? Because these red lines right here, these long lines right here, that's telling me, hey, guess what? Pay attention. This is overbought. This green line here, hey, pay attention. This is oversold. Okay. And we're running these. So, like, you're like, well, how can I get some of that? Right? Because there's a ton. I'm gonna switch and show you a live chart here in a second. Give me an opportunity to kind of pull that up. Let me exit out of this right here. Close that window. I'm back. Let me pull this up. And this is happening like literally right now. Okay. And yeah, this is happening right now. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna hide some stuff from you. I can't give you all the goodness. Okay. I'm just not gonna do it. Right. Let's give you a sneak peek. How about that? Okay. Let's give you a sneak peek. All right. So if you're paying attention, let's get in here and let's go in here and let's look at what's happening in the market now. I think this is live. I see. Yep. Okay. So live chart, right? So you saw in the other one, how can you tell this is live? Let me go in here. Let me click on this. This is saying, right, the 29th, this is going to happen, the Fed press conference. So, a lot of times folks will give you, based on the knowledge that they have, they'll tell you never trade on the day when the Fed is going to announce. Okay. I want to share something with you. They tell you that, and people will be sitting on the sidelines. I used to do that. Look, it was a time I was basically just scrape trading. All I was really doing was I was sitting there. I was trading out of the market on MT4 on my iPhone, and I was called scrape trading. So I was just like getting the rhythm of the market, and I was buying and selling on the rhythm of the market, but I was only really operating in one direction. I was only buying. I was never shorting the market. I was only making half the opportunity money. But because when you're scrape trading, it's so fast. Every 3 to 10 seconds, I was making a decision. It was chaos. Did we have some wins? Absolutely. Did we have some losses? Absolutely. Did we have more wins and losses? Absolutely. Okay. We did all that inside of a trust, inside of a private foundation. Okay. So I'm going to share with you this. Let's look at some dates and times, right? So this is a buy, right? So if we're looking at this chart, let me bring this up because dollars matter. So let's assume that you have a dollar amount in mind, and I gotta do something here because people love pictures, man. Okay, people love pictures. Okay, and I want to make sure that I do my part and give you some solid pictures so you can see. Okay, let me get over here. Let me stop sharing that one. Let me pull these puppies up. Let's see what we got. Let's go. Let's start. And I appreciate y'all. This is a guy. I'm not the fastest on the trigger here, but I'm fast enough. Let me see what this one is. Is this one this one? Nope, I'm in the wrong one. Is this one this one? Yes, it is. This is it right here. Okay, this is perfect. So again, entertainment purposes only, right? This is past. This happened, right? This is not happening. We can't predict this is going to happen in the next 3 seconds, 3 months, 3 years, nothing. We're talking about what happened in the past. So this is how we internally we look at trades. So what is this really telling you? It's like, all right, so we have these things, we break ours down in groups. And groups for us are like people. Okay. And so I was going to tell you that we have a group one, a group two, group three, and group four. And really the groups is based on how much capital that you actually have to start your trade with. Now, this is a PSA. I'm getting back on my horse again. Okay. And I know you guys, some of you guys are like, all right, so what are we doing here? Why you keep, stopping showing us the charts? Well, because there is some situations that I have to bring to your attention that I think um, that there's people who I'm put it this way. There's some people who had to make a decision, and the decision was, do I um, be an additive? Am I going to be an additive to the financial success of Black people? This is America. And there's people that have to make that decision. There's some people that have made that decision and say, yeah, but I got to make sure I get the bag first. And I totally understand that, because nobody wants to be like Mother Teresa. You helping everybody, but you're still poor, right? You counting on other people to give you money just so you can eat, right? But at the same time, Mother Teresa, she had a higher calling, right? And her calling was to make sure that she is a truth teller. Okay, so I'm gonna be a truth teller, and I'm always gonna be. You got whatever you ask me. In fact, we're gonna be doing these AMA, ask me anything, as we go forward. And whatever you ask me, I'm just gonna give it to you. Right? This is what this is. This is how this works. This is how this thing moves. But I want to go back to this trading platform. There's this trade. So it says, we're here to dismantle the barriers that have held Black Americans back for generations. Let me tell you what's been helping or holding Black people down. Did you know the majority of people who trade in the market who are Black today, they come through something known as a prop firm? It's a prop trading firm. It's really a pretend trade firm. It's really prop trading firms. And I know some people going to be like, no, I'm gonna give it to you. Prop trade firms are like payday loan people. Like, you go the title loan guys where you don't have any loot. You got to take your car in, and you got some value in your car, and you own the car, and you take it, you give them your title, and they give you some cash. And the loan is so like outsized. You're paying like, 20, 30% interest when you really do the real math, for them to give you, $1,000 or $5,000 on your car. You end up paying, when you're all done with that particular loan, you done paid $10,000. You gave them 100% profit. And they say, and do you know that that's what prop trading firms are doing? They literally will give you the opportunity to start your account and trade. And then they say, we'll give you leverage. Leverage means that these individuals are trying to give you an opportunity to use their money so you can make money for them and make money for you. The dilemma is that and prop trading firms, they have these limitations, and they have this big carrot saying, hey, if you have $500, we'll give you a 25,000 or $100,000 account to trade on. But we're going to make sure that if you lose more than a certain amount, 5% in a day, we're going to actually have to pull your account. Oh, the $500 that you had to pay to get in, you don't get that back. The money that you've been making in that trade, maybe you took that $500 and now there's $1,500 or $2,500 in your account. You've been diligently trading, staying in the parameters for that particular prop trading firm. They say you can't lose more than 10% over the life of your account, and you can't lose more than 5% in a day. And if you do fall out of those parameters at all, we're not talking about, listen, if you got $10,000 in one day, there was a market crash, you missed the mark, you didn't get out the trade in time, and you lost $11,000 on your $10,000 that you have in your trade account. If you're in the prop trading and you have that literal $1,100 loss because it's more than 10% on a $10,000 account, that means that other $8,900 that's left over from that $1,100 subtraction from your account, they get to take all that $8,900. They literally stamp you out. They kick you out the trade. So you lost your $500. You lost all the time that like learning how to trade on their fake platforms. It's not even real market. Okay, there's other people that they bring their market. Listen, the majority of the people that's running a prop trade, the people that you see in the front, they're white labeling. Okay, they know that you're an influencer, and so they're like, okay, here, let me tap into your market. This is the people that have the people who are actually trading on those prop trading firm platforms. The person who actually is the influencer, they're making some loot no matter what, rain or shine. But the people who are following those individuals to get into that prop trade platform, they're losing. Listen, we're going to be sharing some details over the next many months. Specifically, we're going to get into like the numbers and how the real original founders of many of these prop trade firms. They're telling you the numbers. Only 5% of the people can actually pass the test, so they can even have a trade account, right? Because prop firms, they always give you these. They call them a challenge. It's pretty much like a way for you to get tripped up. They're not educating you. They say they are. They're not really. They're creating community, hold you up long enough so they can get in your warm market and take the 25 people that you know and put them into their market as well. They hype you on the front end, but then when you don't pass the test and your entire account gets snatched, you're heartbroken. They say, hey, don't worry about it though. Come back next month. Bring a fresh $500 and you can trade and do this thing all over again. So everybody loses. You have to practice. But in their practice, you get these parameters. It's almost like standing 100 feet away and you have your friend stand over there 100 feet away with a needle, and you have the string, the thread, and you got to throw that thread 100 feet in the wind and make sure it goes right through that particular, the eye in that needle, so you can actually win. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're giving you, the limitations are so precise, and it's not realistic in real life trading. That's why only 5% of the people actually ever pass the test. And guess what? This is not from me. This is from founders from these firms. You can go to YouTube right now. They're talking all about this. Hey, they're telling you that of those people who actually even get to the point where they can actually trade successfully, they pass the test, only 2% of those people even get payouts. Let me make sure I understand. Not 2% of everybody. We're talking about 2% of the people who actually pass the test. Because again, after you pass the test, you still have these limitations. You can't lose more than 5% in a day. Okay? And if you can't do that, that means you have to take these tiny little trades because you don't want to ever expose too much of your trade portfolio. So I'm just giving listen, man, I'm giving it to you exactly as it is. They have created this thing for you to lose. That's why prop trading firms, they're like payday loan. They're like loan sharks. They're like, you may as well go to Vegas, take all your money, go to the roulette wheel, throw it on any color and a number, and hope like heck it comes up and you win. It's literally like that. That's what a prop trading firm is. Okay. So let me give you the opposite, the antithesis, the something that is absolutely not only not prop trading firms, because of the Underrepresented Peoples Foundation. It put us in a scenario that we can actually do something the greater good. We created this, and this is a group one traders, right? These are the most resilient folks on the planet. These are the people who have between $100 and $250 to actually trade. They have the vision and the dream. If you're paying attention to those prop traders, hey, you can take this small amount of money. We'll give you the leverage with that small amount of money. If you have $250, we'll give you a $10,000 account. But because the parameters are so tight, you can't win. So here is, based on this particular scenario, this was the trade. This is what actually happened, right? This is old, right? So, and this is like what, the 20th yesterday, last night. So this was a short. Remember I said the short is when the market is going down, right? This was the entry point, 17,845. The stop loss was at 17,892. Where you're like, wait a minute, make sure I understand. How can the entry point be less? I mean, be less than the actual the stop loss. Stop loss means I'm willing to take the market to a period of which that is, if I end up losing more than this, get me out the market. That's what a stop loss is. It's basically like, think of it, if we at the circus, right? And you see the people on the high, the trapeze, right? Wire, and there's a net under them. Think of your stop loss as your safety net. Okay. And so when you're shorting the market, this number is going to be more than the entry because what? We're profiting on our way down. This is saying, hey, if the market doesn't go down, it goes up, you're willing to only lose what the difference between this 892 and this 845 and whatever those numbers are. Okay. Over here, you have the EMA. This is basically where it says technical data, right? Think of this as these are like moving averages, like where over a period of time, long moving average versus short moving average. So over the short term, it was the average number was 17,862. Long term, the number is 17,878. Okay. Stotch is another, think of this as an indicator oscillator that basically says, hey, here's how the market is moving. Okay. This was a snapshot. All this is snapshot in time. None of this matters anymore because this already happened. But I have to show you previous sort of transactions so you'll clearly understand. And I never cherry pick. It's no reason. See, we created the AI because the AI is based on, and again, if anybody's going to write something down, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to study the market, study no one else other than Jim Simons. Okay. Jim Simons is the guy. He's the guy that created the Magellan Fund. The Magellan Fund is the most profitable investment portfolio on the planet. Like one small group of people, they control it. Their money is, okay, everybody knows Warren Buffett, right? Everybody knows who he is, right? Warren Buffett, they call him the Oracle of Omaha. Why? Because he's been able to take a company from 1969 to today. He's been able to take this company and run that company to the point where right now stock adjusted from 1969, meaning that when you have a stock and you own a company, if you want to actually, create more value for the people and get more people to be able to afford your stock, you do a stock split. Okay. And I want to tell you that the numbers in a stock split where Warren Buffett started this company and each stock was worth $1, at some point, I think maybe like 10 years ago, maybe less, Warren Buffett decided that he was going to donate, private foundation donation. He's going to donate to the Bill and Melinda Gates private foundation. So one foundation donates to another. This is a whole strategy. We'll talk about that in depth another morning. But in this particular case, you have this guy who has this stock that was $1. He donated $50 billion of that stock to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, let me stop right there. I said stock, right? I didn't say real estate. I mentioned Jim Simons, right? Because Warren Buffett, everybody knows him. He had enough money to donate $50 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And there's a whole thing about that. We'll get into the weeds. But Jim Simons' wealth that he's created over that same period of time, I believe Jim Simons started in 1965. Okay. Here's what's so crazy about this. If you add up all of Warren Buffett's wealth that he's created in his company, Berkshire Hathaway, I want you to think about like, a little sewing kit. I know anybody sews, right? Sewing kit. And in that sewing kit is a thimble. Okay. And the thimble is all of Warren Buffett's wealth. And then you have Jim Simons' wealth and what he's created since 1965. If you took a look at a city like, and this is no hyperbole, if you look at a city like Los Angeles, California, like Los Angeles City, not the county, the city's still, millions of people. Okay. The size of Los Angeles City versus a thimble. Jim Simons' wealth that he's created is the size of Los Angeles when Warren Buffett's the size of a thimble. But yet everybody believes that Warren Buffett is the Oracle of Omaha. He is a smart guy, but he cannot hold a candle to your boy Jim Simons. I'll give you this one. Listen, there are multiple books up on Amazon or Audible. You want to get every book you can around the knowledge of which that Jim Simon has taught. This dude, everybody that's on CNBC, everybody that's on Bloomberg, all these people that are analysts and talking heads and all these people, bruh, stop playing. Go right to the head of the class. Get to start studying Jim Simons, and you're gonna know the market and what you guys see on your screen right here. All of this don't just look like numbers to you. Okay, you got titles and numbers. There's more numbers on here there is titles and words, right? Okay. Guess what? Jim Simon, I follow him. You know why? Because the market is really about math. It ain't about words. It's about math. Why am I saying this? Okay. Remember we talked about take profit levels, all right? So this is anytime you see, I said TP, TP1, TP2, TP3, all the way to 5. These are take profit levels right here. So if you come in, most people's trying to focus on, all right, where do I get in and where do I get out? Jim Simon's like, nah, that's just the start. That's like the iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg is where you enter and when you exit. Okay. But the meat of the iceberg is below the sea level, right? It's below the water level, right? So this is where the profit is. Okay. So you're taking profit 5 times on one trade. So obviously, if you do that, these are the kind of numbers. Now, remember I mentioned resilient. So resilient folks, I'm going to put it out there like it is. The majority of our Black folk, they have to struggle to put together $250 or $100 outside of the numbers that they got to pay every single day, week, month, quarter, year, right? Just to survive. Now, it's some Black folk, we some proud people, okay? But here's the thing. We don't have a bag. We got a bag, but we don't got the bag, if you know what I mean, right? And because of that, we created on our platform something for the majority of the Black people who are either too afraid or they really ain't got no loot. Guess what? We say, listen, start your account with $100. It's not like a prop trading firm because it's your money on your own broker account. And when you want to withdraw any of your money, you have absolutely 100% of the control over that account. You take your money. Can't nobody tell you you can't take it. Prop trading firms tell you got to beg for them and then wait days for them to give you your money. In this case, that's not what this is. So we know that if you have between $100 and $250 in your trade account, how you got started. Listen, we don't care how you get in as long as you in, right? If you only got $100, start there. But if you're between $100 and $250 in your trade account when you start, because you're following the signals, okay? The signals are telling you, listen, right? It says, here are the percentages. We're taking a 10% on the first take, another 15% on the second, 20%, 20%, and 35%. Add all that up, it's 100%. So by the time that you close out here, take the fifth profit, right? Which is here, you close out. If you close out, you've made, in this case, 10% was $18, $56, 15%, 20% was $113, and you can see another 20% because this is compounded. See, the value is going up over time. That's why the first one is only $18 when you take out 10%. But if you take out 3.5 times that over here, it's not $18.90 times 3.5, because that would only be what? Less than $60. No, because of the compound effect, all right? By the time we get to the 35, that one trade was $330 all by itself. I want y'all to get this. How can you have a $250 account and you end up with, let's assume this took a week in this trade. You was in a week. Where are you going to go legally where you can take between $100 and $250 and you end up with $670 that week? Think about it. If you're somebody who's an ambitious trader, right? Somebody who's slightly better off financially, they got between $500 and $1,000 in this particular scenario. I cannot predict that this is going to happen again ever in life. But listen, the story has been told. Somebody had between $500 and $1,000, and they use the exact same methodology. Every time you got a signal to their phone, we literally deliver the signals to your phone as a text message. We help you set up your TradingView account so it's set up properly, right? So thus then when you get the signals, all you're doing is it's going either buy, and then you're getting another signal that says take profit, And another one says take profit. Another one says take profit up to 5 times. Sometimes you only got 2 takes profits. Sometimes you got 5 take profits. But I wanted to illustrate what's really happening. Okay. Somebody who's got a $500,000 account, and these people are sitting here going like, I took a 10% take profit. I had $37. Then I got to 15. It jumped up to 113. Then it got to 226. By the end, because of the way this trade worked, we didn't make this up. This is the real market. I was showing you guys the numbers on the chart, right? This is what happened with that particular person because we cracked the code, y'all. Yes, it's AI, but you have to have also knowledge as to which indicators, when you blend them together, how they actually come out with these type of outcomes. And I will tell you this, when it says position sizing, see the resilience down here, it has this number, this 0.2, right? And this one, the ambitious had a 0.4. So this is why the ambitious trader actually, because these are the lot sizes. It says they had double the money exposure in the trade the ambitious did versus the resilient. But the resilient couldn't have as much money because they only had $250 in their account. This person had 1,000. So the chances of this person going to 670 and this one going to 1341 over that same period, this is what it is. The more you start with, the more you end with. But guess what? If you're somebody that only has $100, start it. Because if you had $100 and you only got 50% of that number, you took $100 and it became $335. Anywhere on the planet, you're winning. So if you're out of the country, you guys love it. If you're in Southeast Asia and you speak any English or you figured out how to get your AI to tell you this whole thing in English and you don't even speak English, but your AI will do the translation, you can imagine. But imagine this. You got people that will work a full month just to make $100. That's why we have people who are subscribers. This is some of these towns that people are like, jumping on, logging in and started with. I don't even know. But guess what? I go in and my AI, I look at the economy in that part of the world. And if these people is coming in here with $100, some people coming in with 4 different family members who are putting in $25 a piece. It's almost like they playing the lottery back in the day. You go to your neighbors, everybody like pool money in together and they go buy a lottery ticket. But this ain't no doggone lottery. This is fact. These are numbers. Again, look up Jim Simons. This ain't no genius. All I did was I'm a good follower. I'm super obedient. I know what to do because Jim Simon is the most prolific capital markets trader investor on the planet, period, in the story. Right? He was a mathematician, IQ over 160. Look it up. So I'm going to close this out by simply saying, listen, this is one little snapshot of just one little trade. Okay. And if you're somebody who is, we have these various levels, right? But if you're somebody who's in that, we call it strategic, and we have these different levels, level 4, level 5. All that really means is you starting with a bigger bag. Okay. If you got a bag, excellent. You need a bigger bag, get it. Only thing I can tell you is there's no reason for anybody to ever be in a situation where they're stuck. You got no money, you got a tiny bit of money, and you're so frozen with fear that you can't move that money into a scenario where you end up being the market leader. You have to take control of your own destiny. You have to learn capital markets. Again, I'm going to tell you this. My name is Jay. That's MarketNav.Ai. Check it out. Go to UnderRepresented Peoples Foundation, Google it, or just simply go to URPF.org. Learn about that. Apply for the grant. Let's get this thing going. We want to make sure that you are the trendsetter for your legacy, that you put situations together financially that allows your kids to go to better schools, that allows your mom and them not to have 4-5 jobs, right? We want to make sure that you can leverage the capital markets in a way that you can, if you're Black, talking to you, if you're Black, this is your season to gain your reparations. Again, the U.S. government, by decree, they're not going to give you free money, okay? Just you. They're not going to do it. But what they are going to do is they're going to give you the opportunity to learn the markets so you too can profit and be like, right? I mentioned Jim Simon. Study up on him. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am Jay. and we're done.